can't seem to make sense of any of this, Mingyu. Can you bring out all the samples from the crime scene? Sure thing, sir. Mingyu placed the evidence on Jungkook's table. Is this everything they found? There are photos too, sir. The criminal wiped out most traces. Jungkook examined the evidence closely. No traces, no CCTV, nothing on the phone. There's something we are missing. Take me to the crime spot. Mingyu wet his lap. Sir, it's been 2 years since the crime attempted. Finding evidence will be tough. That's why we are here, Mingyu. Time to shake things up. Mingyu nodded. This farmhouse is sealed from past 2 years under investigation and feels scary too. Jungkook examined carefully. Nothing here. Let's check the hallway. Jungkook's eagle finding for something as he bumped into Mingyu and his heart dropped for a second while a scream left from Mingyu's mouth and Jungkook sighed. You scared me, he said, putting hand on his chest. Sir, I think we should go from here, he said, being scared, and Jungkook glared at him. I told you to find evidence. What the hell you are doing behind my back? Mingyu walked closer to him while Jungkook side-eyed on him. I will stay with you, sir, or otherwise I'll get lost here, he said, holding his blazer a little while Jungkook pushed him a little. Behave, Mingyu. I told you to maintain distance with me. Mingyu nodded. Jungkook sighed and walked while Mingyu quickly followed him as he speaks again. So whether we get any evidence or not, we will definitely find Ghost. Jungkook stops and glares at him and Mingyu laughed nervously. If you say one more word now, you don't meet Ghost or not, but I'll definitely turn you into a ghost. Mingyu gulped and nodded as they walked. He's more dangerous than a ghost, he mumbled. Jungkook walked, examining each and every corner of house when his eyes landed on something as Jungkook noticed a blood spot on a plant and he bent a little to look closely. Did the investigator check these plants? Mingyu shook his head nervously and Jungkook smirked stylishly. Take the sample to forensic team, it could be crucial. Mingyu nodded, sir, he said as he called but side-eyed on Jungkook, whose eagle eyes finding new evidences which any other officer never noticed. Jungkook is looking in the files closely as Mingyu came in bottom. So according to the forensic team, it'll take about a week. The blood is dried and it's so hard to get sample. Jungkook nodded. Officer Jung suspected their servant. Is there any way? He asked and Mingyu nodded. Yes, actually that day there is no one at farmhouse, even a single servant. It was only him, Winsuk. Officer Jung suspected him but court declared that he wasn't there that day and he was in his hometown. Even minister said that he was all alone there and there is no other weapons or something because he got shot by his own gun. Jungkook listened him carefully. Any fingerprints on gun? Mingyu shook his head in denial. There is only his fingerprints. And bullets were on of that gun only. Jungkook let out a dry chuckle. It seems that the murderer is from investigation department, that he cleaned all the evidence cleverly. Mingyu looked at him surprised and he sighed. Well, truth cannot be hidden because the murderer always makes a mistake. Mingyu nodded. So, can I go? He asked and Jungkook looked at him. Yeah, you can, but send someone to bring coffee for me. This case is a headache. Mingyu bowed and left. If there was a hostility, then it must be one of our suspects, and none of them. I'm really missing out something. He mumbled and threw his head back on chair. Jungkook dialed your number again as he is looking for you from last half an hour, but you are nowhere to find, and he was worried. Then he felt a tap on his shoulder as he quickly turned and sighed in relief, and you smiled and he hugged you tightly. Where did you go? He mumbled and you smiled as he broke the hug and looked at you, and you could see how worried he was. But then you smiled innocently as you sat on your knees, making him surprised as he looked around, and you extended a bouquet to him, making him smile and blush as his cheeks turned pink, and he put palm on his forehead, looking at you smiling, and people around adored the couple as some them like glitches. Thank you, my dear husband, for everything. He chuckled, shaking his head a little. She's completely crazy. He mumbled and he flashed a beautiful smile. Lovely. You mouted and he chuckled. As he tried to make you stand, but you shook your head, gesturing him to take the flower bouquet, and he bit his lip as he took flower bouquet from your hands, and you could see him blushing so hard for the very first time that he unable to hide it. As he held your hand, making you stand, and he pulled you closer by your waist. I brought you to here to make you feel special. Why am getting princess treatment? He asked, and you smiled. Why always you make me feel special, huh? I wanted to make my husband feel special. Tell him that how much I love him. He smiled, adoring her. Friends treatment for my friends. He said, pulling his cheeks a little and he pecked your forehead. Thank you, but please don't snatch my rights from me. I love to do things for my wife, make her feel special. Tell her how she makes my world brighter. It makes me happy. You scrunch your nose and nodded. I know, right? He laughed, and you does too, as you held his hand, dragging him with you. Come, I have something for you. He focused in her cheeks. We came here for you, not for me, he said, walking with you. Which one? He asked as she showed him the pendant, and he tilted his head a little. The one you like. You smiled as he asked the price. This one. The man nodded. Okay, pack this one. Sure, ma'am. He looked at Jungkook, who is just adoring you. I know I'm beautiful. Don't look at me like that. You said, making him laugh. Ma'am, payment by cash or card? Shopkeeper asked. By card. As you look in your bag. Then Jungkook took out his card from his wallet and he extended, but you slapped his hand as he extended your card and glared at him. You will pay for your gift too, huh? This gift is from my side. You huffed with an adorable pout and then smiled. Every time she flashed that smile, heart melting smile, he felt his resolve crumble, his heart swelling with an indescribable warmth as he fell more deeply under her captivating spell and looked at her like a lovesick puppy. My poor heart, he mumbled while smiling like an idiot. Then you smiled as shopkeeper extended to you, and you looked at Jungkook smiling madly and took out the pendant. May I? You asked, and he smiled as he pulled you closer by waist while you looked at shopkeeper who walked from there. Yours. Don't need to ask. He whispered and you smiled. He opened the change before making him wear while her eyes fixed in his as he was straight looking in his, and he's also looking at you intensely as you made him wear and tipped up a little to peck his cheeks as he just adored her. Done? He asked and you nodded. My turn. As he pecked your cheeks and entwined his hands in yours and walked. You walked, intertwining your arm in his as you got tired of walking as you looked at Jungkook. Jungkook, I'm tired. And how far away? You asked and he looked at you. Just a little more. You pouted as you removed your sandals. Then I walk like this. It feels good. These sandals are eating me up. Jungkook shook his head. Barefoot, stupid. You scrunch your nose as he bent down and picked you sandal before putting them in back. Hold it. He said, extending you as you hold, and when he picked you up in his arms, making you gasp. Jungkook, you said, looking around as he looked at you. Don't look at me like that. If you're feeling embarrassed, you can use my chest to hide your red cheeks. and you hit his shoulder and hide your face in his chest, making him laugh. Whole day you both enjoyed a lot as Jungkook and you explored the mall, and he bought you a necklace and a ring. Now just this, he bought many things for you which you didn't even ask, but he's in mood to pamper you, and now you're waiting for him to bring ice cream for you as you look for him, but he still did not come. And then you look at the pictures of you two clicked together while smiling. You're moving here and there when someone looked at her direction, moves his face to other direction, noticed something unusual, and she walked a little from there. But when she felt someone is behind her, but she turns and man covered her mouth and removes his mask as trying to cut a deal. As she recognized the person, shh, don't shout, it's me. You. Why are you here? I told you not to come here until he stopped and looked around. You didn't even tell me before coming here. I was, but I can't contact you. But since you, she stopped as she saw Jungkook coming in their direction. And your throat go dry while Manda starts sweating as he put his mask on. Go now. He quickly walked from there as Jungkook came and looked at you. Who was that? You swallowed before answering. Some stranger asking for direction. Nervously said. Jungkook looks at Wang and the disappeared of figure of the person in just. He looked at you as he can see sadness on your face, and he sighed looking at Wang, my watch. As you look at him, nodded, but when you're about to walk, he pulled you back by your wrist and pulled you in his embrace suddenly. If you stay like this, then how will I go? He whispers. Why so sudden? You mumbled and he smiled. It's urgent. If not, I would never leave you alone like this. He mumbled when you broke the hug and looked at him. You know why I'm upset, you said and he smiled as he wiped the tears from your eyes. Because you're going to miss me. You looked down and he wagged your head. Aren't you? He made you look at him. I'll try my best not to, because if I did, I won't be able to focus on my work. You sighed, controlling your tears. Make it on time, Koo, tomorrow, he said while eyeing on her as her cheeks and nose turned red due to controlling her tears. I will, he said, pulling you in his embrace. If you didn't make on time tomorrow, I will sue you. You said, pouting, and he chuckled. Oh, really? By the way, what's special tomorrow? He asked innocently, and you instantly break the hug. Look at him, scrunching eyes. You don't know what's tomorrow? You asked, and he shook his head and he punched him. Ouch! And he groaned while laughing. So you just ruined my mood. He walked, but he quickly followed, talking louder. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Don't make such stupid jokes. He chuckled before pulling you closer. How can I forget the most special day of my life? He whispers and you just look at him. That's why you choose this day for your work. This work couldn't be done by a day after tomorrow. He shook his head. I want to celebrate like when there are thousands of thoughts running in my mind. I want a closure. He said a little seriously as you felt your heart skipped a beat like something didn't sound good to you. But you smiled. I hope you get a closer. He smiled as he took your hand in his before kissing it softly. That's enough, my lady luck. When his phone rings as he looked at the call ready, then back at you. My flight is 4 p.m. Before that, I'm going to department. I have some work there. He said and you nodded. Take care. He smiled and kissed your head softly. You too. He moved back as he took his bag and you just watched, being anxious. Because you're feeling something is off as Jungkook is about to leave, but he looked back at you. And one last time before leaving, as he just gave you a smile, left while you closed your eyes. The man covered with black hoodie cap and mask slipped into the Foreign Affairs Department, his heart pounding as he swiftly removed the DNA evidence of his friend from the computer. Got it, he muttered under his breath, but just as he turned to leave, a hand grabbed his collar from behind. Where do you think you're going? A voice crawled, sending shivers down his spine. With quick reflexes, he twisted out of the grip and sprinted towards the exit. Jungkook, the security guard, was on hot on heels. In the narrow alleyway, Jungkook picked a steel rod and hurled it towards his legs. The impact sent him crashing to the ground, but he managed to keep his mask in place. Jungkook beside him, frustration evident in voice. Who are you? He demanded, attempting to rip off his mask. His fist met Jungkook's nose before he could uncover his face, causing Jungkook to stagger back, clutching his bleeding nose. None of your business, he spat before darting away, leaving Jungkook seething with anger and determination. Jungkook got up as he held his head as his vision got blurred for a while and he kicked in frustration. Jungkook came frustrated as Mingyu noticed him and quickly got up, boring him as Jungkook kicked the table, making Mingyu to shut his eyes. As he looks at him, gulping, "Are you okay, sir?" he asked, and suddenly Jungkook started to laugh manically and Mingyu gulped. Someone deleted the forensic evidence. He speaks out of blue as he suddenly looks at him and Mingyu froze for a while. How and when? He asked and suddenly Jungkook smirks. That someone thinks that he cleared the evidence and he doesn't know that real report I have collected a day before, but he escaped. He spit and Mingyu brows joined. But you didn't tell me. Jungkook calmly looked at him. No one knows, he said as he looked at his watch. It's my flight time. Mingyu was still stuck there. Are you coming with me to airport? He asked and Mingyu instantly shook his head. No sir, actually I am occupied with other activities, he blurted out, and Jungkook just looked at him as he nodded after a while. I have to leave, as he about to walk but stopped as Mingyu speaks. So what's in the report? He said and Jungkook turned and looked at him. Why so curious? He asked and Mingyu laughed. Nice sense of humor. We are working on the same case, sir, he said and Jungkook just gave him a look. I think you know, he said, winking Mingyu to frown as Mingyu was about to say something but his phone blinks as he looked at Jungkook. Jungkook shook his head before walking while Mingyu walked limping in the corner to dock. As Mingyu entered an office, Chief Park Hyun-sing was already waiting for him. His expression stern and unwavering. Mingyu swallowed hard, steeling himself for whatever news awaited him. Mingyu, have a seat. Chief Park gestured towards a chair, his tone grave as Mingyu compiled, his heart pounding in his chest. I received a report from Jungkook regarding the incident earlier today. His gaze piercing as Mingyu listened instantly. He mentioned that someone tampered with the forensic evidence, but he managed to secure the real report in time. Just because of Jungkook, sir. He nervously said and Park Hyun-sik nodded. True, he's a great officer. You put perfume and looked at yourself in the mirror, lastly smiles. Everything is perfect, he mumbled, smiling. And when she looked at the clock and then took her phone as her face turned into worried one, as she realized what time it is and her husband still not at home. Whom she is trying to call since morning to wish first anniversary or expected a call from him, as it's your first anniversary, but he didn't, nor he picked your call. Where are you, Jungkook? You called him, but this time his phone is switched off, which made you more worried as you opened his chat and looked at. He has seen your message but didn't reply, which built a fear inside you. You blow some air as you call someone. Thanks, Anne. You walked while your phone in between your shoulder and ear. I'm really happy for you. Time flies so fast. She excitedly said. "Hmm." You sounded off to her, which is easy to observe by her. Hey, is everything alright? Yeah, he said smiling. Where's Jungkook? He's not home yet? She asked and looked at the door. He told me he's coming. But girl, it's your first anniversary. How can he not at home? But when bell rings, as you got up instantly. And I'll talk later. I think Jungkook has said. You said excitedly, but he declined the call. You're about to open the door but stopped as you corrected yourself because you're feeling nervous. And then you open the door and there's a wide smile appears on your face as you look at him. Then you quickly hugged him and he didn't move a budge. Where were you? You asked when you broke the hug and looked at him. There's cold expression on his face. He didn't say anything as he smiled as he tiptoed and packed his cheeks. And he just stared at you. Just go inside. You must be tired. You hold his hand and walked inside with him. He stood there for a while, all the time he is looking at you. And when you extended him water glass and he looked at the glass and then you. As he took a few steps closer to you. Minsuk. And the glasses slipped from your hands as Jungkook looked at the glass. While your smile disappears and breath becomes uneven. Fear was clearly visible on your face, but you straightened up and smiled. Who's that? I don't know. You replied and Jungkook looked at you with a blank expression. You didn't make eye contact with him as he bent down to pick up last piece. It just got slipped from my hands. You know what he said. When you felt something on your head, as he looked up and just to find him pointing gun on your head. His eyes are all red and tears almost building up in his eyes. But when you shut your eyes and gulped hard, and got up slowly as he's still pointing at your head. The heartbeat slowed and you know that your fear has come. And you looked at him sadly. Then he suddenly pulled you closer by your waist, making your breath hiss. And now the top of the gun touching your forehead as you directly looking in his eyes. And it was more like whisper as you are feeling no energy now. Shall I say it last or last? And a tear slid from your eyes and his grip more tightened on you. That the culprit I've been searching in the whole country is none other than stopped as he feels his throat is hurting. None other than my wife. And you shut your eyes, letting your tears to slide. I love the fuck out of you and you hurt the shit out of him. He was first tightening his lips and you looked at him as your eyes turned all red. And when he suddenly jerked you off as you just stared at him and he pointed the gun at you. Only the truth, why anything else? He said in black voice. You just stood there looking at him and your heart is aching badly seeing him like this. Even more hurt seeing him pointing the gun. He chuckled sadly. My husband asking for the truth or Officer John. He said with heavy thought and his grip tightened on the gun. Not the time for this. I just want to know that you walked near him. You held his hand and pointed at your head. Looked directly in his eyes as tears slid from his eyes. I expected better from you. I never expected. He replied and he chuckled sadly as he wiped your tears. Yes, I'm your culprit. I am the culprit you are finding all over the country. You know what? What's in your language? I am not. I killed him. He shut his eyes and tears are constantly sliding from his eyes as he aggressively brushed his fingers through his hairs, trying to calm himself and look back at him. Why? There is no anger in his voice, but just pain, as he was all hurt more than angry, because he really don't know
what's going to happen. You stood there looking at him and trying to hold yourself back without saying anything as he lowered the gun. The husband deserved to know the truth. He said, making you shut your eyes and tears slow down. I hated that. He asked again and he looked at him and his face turned almost. The rest set me up in one book. He sat with heavy thought and Jungkook didn't say anything. Just stared. He chuckled sadly and looked other side before looking back at me. The moment you said this, Jungkook's heart stopped for a while, and he felt like the world around him collapsed. And the gun fell from his hand, and your tears aren't stopping, but she smiled then. What? You take a pause. I'm not a victim. I don't have any regret. And Jungkook looked at you as his whole body is shaking. He really doesn't know what to say or how to react. He got all speechless, and your tears slowed down, and you walked home. What? And then you did your best from that person who is more likely to fall. Jungkook looked at you. You feel very proud of your beauty, right? You shook your head unconsciously and you're already crying, getting him to stop. She is half conscious but still can feel the unbearable pain on her body and what he did to her. The pain is unbearable, but all what she did tried all was not a human right in her face of him. He gave her the pain for the rest of her life. That night, he just not gave scars on my body. He stopped. Let's speak of your everything as he couldn't speak more and burst into tears because just thinking about that day haunts you. Jungkook walked near you with his trembling hands. He touched your cheeks. Jungkook wiped your tears as he removed his blazer and wrapped around you while you just cried. When he pulled you in his embrace, hugging you tightly, and tears come out from his eyes too non-stop. I'm sorry, whispered. Sally just cried silently. So sorry. As he shut your eyes. He broke the hug and looked at you as he wiped your tears from you. But they aren't stopping. He really doesn't know that how can he take all your pain upon himself. Jungkook's attached your forehead with and you both cried while he just constantly wiping your tears when you wiped your tears and looked at him. Will you leave me now? He shook his head. No, you will put me behind the bars, right? You said, panicking, and Jungkook shook his head vigorously. No. They are coming to arrest me, right? You constantly asked, panicking as you are not listening to him. Oh, no. He pulled you in his embrace when you cried. He'll take me, you mumbled while crying. Shh! No one will take you anywhere. I'm here, Ryan. He said, trying to calm you down. I'm here, love. You broke the heart and looked at me. Leave me, Shankar. Please don't. He cupped your face, shaking his head. Never. He kissed your forehead and pulled you in his embrace again. Just calm down. He mumbled, please. Mumbled, crying. Jungkook made you sit while you sit like a statue as he looked around. The room is decorated with flowers and he regretted everything. And he took nightwear from your wardrobe as you looked at him like there is no standing fashion. And he's about to walk, but you held his wrist. He looked at you as he stared her with tears in his eyes, and she looked at him. Her lips are trembling with tears. Did you leave me? She asked. After knowing I'm not here, I'm not harmless. Will you leave me? She asked, and Jungkook knelt down in front of her. He felt his throat heavy as he cupped her face. Really? He put finger on her lips.
Shh.
He whispers as he wiped her tears. Are you crying because you think I will leave you now? He asked, and she nodded. I'm scared to lose you because I love you. I can't live without you. I'm sorry for hiding the truth. His gaze softened as he pulled her in his embrace, gently hugging her. I can't live without you because I love you. It's far more than I can explain. Sorry for not being there before. I wish I was there. His voice broke as he looked deep breath, and he broke the hug and smiled with tears wiping her tears. You are really strong woman. You are my woman. Mine broke into tears while his heart fell looking at her. He still smiled. You are a warrior wine. I'm so proud of you. He whispered, wiping her tears, and Wine hugged him tightly as he closed his eyes. You did right, because there is no justice for women in this world. You did justice for yourself. I'm so proud of you, my lady. He controlled his tears as Wine broke down. Thank you, she whispered, and he shook his head as he kissed her forehead. He felt no energy in his throat to speak as he just stared at her with so much admiration that he seeing the most precious thing in this world. He got up, gasping with tears as it is hard for him to control his tears. And then he's about to walk, Wine held his wrist, making him shut his eyes as he looked at her, controlling his heart not to burst into tears in front of her. And she slowly walked near him, and her eyes approached him with tears as she cupped his face. Closing her eyes, she pressed his lips on hers. She kissed him softly as he could feel her trembling lips against his as he slowly wrapped his arms around her, giving an surety of safety, and kissed her back softly with gentleness that only she can feel his love and care. She felt the love and security which she never felt before, as he broke the kiss and patted her forehead while she hugged him as he kissed her back, hugging her generously. If she whispered, and Wine clutched him tightly. They won't take me right, they won't arrest me. He hugged her tighter. No one will take you anywhere as long as I am here with you. This world. Don't worry, no one has to touch you. I don't want to lose him, he said, hugging him like she's about to lose him. Sensing her insecurity, he kissed her back. Can you trust me? He asked in whisper, and she nodded. More than myself. He looks outside of window. Then forget something like that happens. I promise I will wipe your painful past and insecurity. Leave everything on me. He said, and Wine broke down. Promise me you will never think about it. I promise you it will never haunt you back again. He whispered, and a tear slid from his eyes as Wine nodded. Promise? He asked, showing his palm, and Wine put her hand on his without even thinking twice as he held tighter and kissed her hand. You're all pain. He whispered, and she burst into tears, resting her head on his chest, and he raped her back.
I'm sorry, sir, he said nervously, and Jungkook looked at him. I'm sorry, and thank you. Jungkook said, and he tried to get up, and Jungkook held him. Why didn't you tell me before? He asked, and Mingyu looked at him. Because I didn't know you were my husband, he replied, and Jungkook stared. If knew you would, he asked again, and he sighed and shook his head. No, I promise, Salman. He said, and Jungkook stared him. Why you helped Ryan? I mean, I don't know what relation you guys have. She's like my little sister. We shared a great bond once when she was new here. He said and Jungkook's brows softened as he looks down. And Minsuk was my friend. Jungkook immediately looked up and with twitched brows. What do you mean? He asked. He was my friend just for sake. Wine wasn't the first girl who suffered. There are many. But all of them never say anything against him because he was the son of a politician. Jungkook clenched his jaws. I swear I would have buried him alive. He whispered, grating his teeth. You were an officer though. What you were doing, huh? He asked a bit angrily. So you very well aware how this politics works. I was bound, but Wine was brave. She did what most girls never think to do. Jungkook's eyes softened. What's what are you going to do next? You know, right, that minister? He asked hesitantly. In Jungkook's case turns done. This will end. I know how to handle politicians. From where their power comes, I'm going to, and I will take out those rules. He muttered, while Mingyu just stared at him and Jungkook looked at him. Please keep this talk to us. Don't let it reach the chief park, he said. Mingyu pressed his lips together as he hides his phone. He said, and Jungkook wear his gap as he looked at him last time. Take care, Mingyu nodded. Jungkook nodded as he walked, taking his phone out. Mingyu peeked, assured that he left as he took his phone. Our work is over, he will end it. He whispered from the other side and Mingyu could feel him smirking. How are you so sure? He asked and he chuckled mockingly from the other side. He's not a normal man. He has someone who has been waiting and pleading to get respect from last 10 years. The means I didn't understand, he said. Means he's going to commit silence and his one handshake and minister gone. It's our time to sit and watch the movie. Take a chill. He said and Mingyu bit his lips as he looked in the direction where he got disappeared. Is he that dangerous? He asked and Hyunsik poked his cheeks. He isn't called Shakespeare's forsake. He has capabilities. There are people who is behind him for years. Underworld is scared of this man. He lastly said and you got you mean? Yes, I mean what you understand. Alessandro St. is not dreaming right. While the man sitting in front of him stared at him with dark eyes, not in a mood to play. The goalie said, I would never joke around you. He said with slight smirk, better not to. Alessandro chuckled mockingly. What made you betray your duty and loyalty? He asked and Jungkook straightened his back. Don't question me, Alessandro. He said in dark voice and the man chuckled. I would not like to, but you know right, what it would cost you. Jungkook stared in his eyes as he leaned on table. Your loyalty. He straightened his brows. Which is your pride? He lastly said. Accept it. He replied with same rage, and a devilish smirk appears on his face. Think your work is done. He said and Jungkook tilted his head without any mistake. He raised brows. You are questioning the world's most feared mafia. You shouldn't be. He said and he looked down, then him. By tomorrow. Alessandro nodded. By evening you will hear the news. Jungkook exhaled heavily as he got up. What in return? He asked and Jungkook looked at him. But you have asked, he replied, and he is about to walk but stops and looked at him. For once only, Alessandro raised brows, and he stormed out from there while Alessandro chuckled heavily. For once too costly. I want you to work for me for a lifetime, and I will make you do that. There is no going back. She was looking outside of the window when she felt warmth around her as his hot breath touched her neck. As she pressed his lips on her cheeks and she smiled slightly. Are you okay? He whispers in husky voice and she nodded as she turned around without breaking the hug. He smiled warmly, looking at her as he kissed her forehead, and she closed her eyes. He murmured in I love you too, she whispered back, hugging him, and he smiled as he rested his head on her chin. I have something for you, he whispered, and she hummed in low voice. He broke the hug and cupped her face. Are you upset? She just stared at him as she looked down, and he sighed as he took a strand of her hair behind. Get ready, I have a surprise for you, he said, and she looked at him as he gestured her while smiling, seeing his bright smile, and she smiled. Too lazy to do that, she said, and he tilted his head. Want me to do for you? He asked with a mischievous grin, and she just stared at him. You're still looking pretty, let's go, he said, smiling, and she smiled as he held her hand. Let's go. She held his hand. I'll get ready. Jungkook looked at her, smiling. It's okay if you don't want to. She shook her head. I want to. I want to get ready for you, she said, and he smiled softly. Okay, I'll be waiting, he said, and she smiled as she kissed his hand. I'll be back quickly, she said in low voice and comforting voice, and he nodded as he was about to walk. Abhi, Jungkook smiled widely as he looked at her. Yes, wifey, he said, smiling, and she bit her lips. Hold your heart. He bit his lips as she walked in the washroom. He lighted up the candles and set the dinner table. He put some flowers when his phone buzzed as he took out his phone, and his smile slowly faded and turned into satisfaction and rage as he closed his eyes. He blew some air as he opened his eyes slowly just to spot her coming, and his phone slipped from his hand and wine widened her eyes a little as he felt his breath stuck. When he gulped down while wine bit her lips, she slowly walked near him, and she bent down to pick his phone while he quickly does too as their eyes met. Hold your heart, you said. You could have said I should hold me the way my heart was ready to come out of my chest. I shouldn't ask you to get ready, he whispered, and she chuckled slightly as she cupped his one cheek and pressed her lips on other cheek, and he closed his eyes. Wifey, are you planning to kill me? He whispered, and she pulled back and looked at him a little seriously. I would love to die for you, Nancy, she whispered, and he smiled as he took her strand behind. Heavenly gorgeous, he whispered, while Wine fixed his corner. My handsome honey, she said, and he blushed softly as he caught up an extended hand for her. She put her hand on his and stand and slowly pulled her, wrapping his arms around her waist, while their eyes locked in each other's. Thank you, she said, and he shook his head. Don't say that again. I haven't done anything for you yet, that you will thank me, he replied in a whisper, and she tilted her head. Thank you for being you, she said, and he stared at her when she slowly intertwined her hand in his. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for making things work out when it seems not to. She mumbled in her eyes, smiling in tears. Thank you for making me believe that none like you exist. Thank you for making me believe in you. She lastly said and cupped her face, kissing her cheeks. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I got you. You know what? I won your heart. It means I won the world. The feelings aren't mutual, but admit more deeper. he said, feeling overwhelmed and a tear slid from her eyes, which she wiped gently. You cry? I cry. So don't. Can't see you said. He said, kissing her cheeks, and she smiled. You're the reason I smile every day, he said, and looking down, smiling. His tears were in his eyes too. I'm blessed to hear that, he said, and she smiled softly as she hugged him. When I'm with you, I don't feel any pain. I want you to replace my painful past with beautiful ones, she muttered while hugging him, and he hugged her tightly. Definitely. I will make your each and every day beautiful, I promise. And broke the hug as she looked at the table he decorated from them. She looked at him smiling. We want to us, she said, and he intertwined his hand in hers, one to forever. He replied, and she nodded as he came closer to her, and his gaze was intense, and her smile slowly faded, looking at his intimidating gaze, and he looked in her eyes, cupping her face. May I? He asked, and she stared at him for a while. She waits for her permission, and she found her eyes glistening again, and she pressed her lips on his, making him close his eyes as her one tear slides as he tried to block the kiss, but she held him tighter. I want to forget. She whispered against his lips, and he kissed her softly, back with love and softness. That she feels the safety and hold her like she is the baby. I'll make sure. He broke the kiss, saying this as she hugged him tightly, and he kissed her. And finally, his tears slides as he wiped